Hi, it's Christina from The Upcoming. It's so lovely to speak with all of you today. Congratulations on the film. Would you like to start by sharing what Superboys of Malegaon is about and what people can expect going in?
Well, the film is based on the life rights of a man called Nasir Shaikh, and he was an ardent film buff who sort of stumbled onto video filmmaking and made a whole lot of parodies on existing Indian films and other films. You know, he started doing it just for the love of making films, but inadvertently, he kind of gave rise to an entire parallel video film industry in a very small town in India. And I think his story is very, very inspirational. And for anybody coming in to watch the film, I think that the film goes beyond filmmaking in that sense. It's really about an underdog who achieves his dream against all odds.
Can you share what sparked the idea for this film?
I think Nasir Shaikh sparked the idea for this film. I had seen the documentary that had covered the making of Superman, and I'd fallen in love with that film and fallen in love with Nasir a little bit. And then I met him. We met at a film festival, and we started chatting, and I realized there was a lot more here to him and to his story, that he was a very, very unique, very cool guy. And I think he's the one that, to tell his story. Basically, this film is the making of Nasir. So, yeah, that's where it came from.
Because the film is about the making of Nasir, as you said, was casting the right actors a difficult decision?
No, I think the casting process was quite simple. I think he was the first choice. And and I think nobody, from the producers, writer, director, Amazon studio, nobody had any objection, clearly. So he's sitting here.
So how did you feel when you received the role?
I was thrilled. I read the script first when I was shooting for a short film with Varun Grover, who's the writer of the film. It was just so compelling, the material. Nasir's story was so inspirational. Yeah, it was just the perfect story for any actor. I feel like it was a dream job for any actor. I'm very fortunate that I got to work with people I've dreamt of working with always.
So what were some of the challenges during the process of making the film?
Well, it's a period film. So that's always challenging because we were shooting in live locations. We were trying to recreate India of the late 90s, early 2000s in 2023. A lot had changed. So we kind of built some our sets and all in live locations. Weather is always a challenge. Murphy's Law kicks in when you're filming. Everything that can go wrong does go wrong. But I think we had so much fun making the film that none of the challenges really bothered us.
Speaking of the part of it being a period film, how did you realize that it was the right time to make Superboys of Malegaon?
I think that's a question that Ritesh should take.
I think because his story is so inspiring, we discovered the story 15 years ago, and we got his life rights. I think there was a timing when a film is to be made, and I think this is the right time for it. But even today, if I was given an opportunity to go back and look at his story and say that would I want to go and acquire it, I would say yes. In a way that it's true that time and it's true now, because I think it's just such a relatable story and so inspiring. You can learn a lot from him. You can learn a lot about what he did for the people of that small town. And I think in a certain way he's responsible of bringing that small town to the forefront and making it discovering it to not only within India, even outside India. So I think it's quite interesting to be able to tell his story and be a part of it. Reema has done is that she's wanted to go beyond that, and with the writer Varun, they've made a film on his life and about how he went about doing what he did in that town with a group of these quirky friends and achieving something which seemed impossible even at that point, or even today when you watch the film, you'll feel like, how the hell did these guys do it at that point with such limited resources available to them? But I think they kept pursuing their dream, and it tells you that even today, that if you dream of something, it's not impossible. Just go and give it your 100% and you'll achieve it.
I was wondering, was it difficult to cut such a large story into such a short amount of time? Because the film is only about 2 hours long.
Yeah, no, I mean, see, those are the parameters of feature filmmaking. For the film to have, I think, the best shot at audiences receiving it, we were very conscious of the length. There was a lot of tracks that, there are a lot of deleted scenes that didn't make it to the film. But, yeah, that's what it is. It's just a parameter of feature filmmaking.
I guess to finish things off, what would all of you like to say to the next generation of young independent filmmakers who don't have necessarily the connections and resources that more privileged peers do? New generation of superboys, if you will?
I think I'd say that keep writing and keep making films just for the love of it, and that'll get you somewhere.
I'd say don't try to tell somebody else's story, try to tell your story.
I mean, I think they are at a much more advantageous, they exist in a much more advantageous time than someone like a Nasir Shaikh did. They have a lot more tools at their disposal. They can actually release their film on YouTube, have their own channel, or nothing should be stopping them.
Yeah, I mean, there are, like I said, for filmmakers today, the opportunities are much more than we had it even at Nasir's time or 10, 15 years after that. I think there's an opportunity for filmmaker. If a storyteller wants to tell a story, all he needs to do is put it on paper. He can shoot it on his phone and it can be out within 24 hours on a platform. So people can discover their work. They should just keep pursuing what they believe in, and like even what Adarsh said, that if you believe in it, then go ahead and do it.
And if I may add, if it's a good script, please send it to me.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.